In today's video, I wanted to share 31 different journal prompts for you to really stretch your mind, increase your mindfulness and self-reflection, and overall just try to grow and develop as much as possible as an individual. I think overall I really just want to start shifting my journaling to be more reflective rather than just copy pasting what's going on up here. The first journaling prompt is, have you bought your Ultimate Journaling Army Pack yet? I'm just kidding, that's not the first journaling prompt, but it is a perfect way to level up your journaling, and it's a really fun way to include a bunch of color and variety while you're answering journaling prompts or doing whatever you want in your journal. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. The link will be in the description down below, but now let's actually get on with the journaling prompts. The first journal prompt is about vision setting. If everything went perfectly this year, where do you think you would be by the end of the year? What steps can you do to achieve that? You can also write about your prediction for how you actually think the year will end up going and compare the differences. What things are preventing you, if they're in your control, from getting to that ideal version of the end of the year. Number 2 is about your daily habits. Which daily habits are holding you back and which ones can help propel you forward? This is a really great evaluation to do just so that you can improve your daily routine as much as possible. Number 3 is about gratitude. List 5 things that you're grateful for and that inspire you to keep growing and keep going. For some more inspiration, I have a whole video on gratitude journaling. I encourage you though to not just write about what you're grateful for, but write about the why and how your life might be different without those things. Number 4 is about your health goals. How can you prioritize your physical and mental health? You can write about this year specifically or in general, or if it's something that you're even actively pursuing. Write about some specific and measurable steps that you can take in order to make your health a priority. And is your physical and or mental health something that you take for granted? Number 5 is about self-discipline. How do you hold yourself accountable and maintain discipline when motivation fades? What steps can you implement to increase your self-discipline? Because with anything in life, motivation is only going to get you so far. Number 6 is about inner peace. What activities bring you joy and help you recharge? And how can you do that more often? Whether it's an independent activity or something that you do with other people, what are the things or one thing that helps you feel rested, rejuvenated, or fulfilled? Number 7 is about having a growth mindset. How do you handle failure and how can you improve your response to setbacks? Do you pin failure against yourself? Are you really hard on yourself? Or do you see it as an opportunity to grow and learn? You can also write about how your relationship to failure has changed over time. Number 8 is about prioritization, specifically what you prioritize in life. Make a list of things that matter most to you in life. Choose like 3 to 10 things. After making your list, write about if your lifestyle actually reflects what you prioritize. Do your daily actions line up with the number 1 thing that matters most to you? And if not, what can you do to change that? Number 9 is about communication. How can you improve the way that you communicate with others and yourself? For this, you can think about the literal way that you talk to somebody, how you engage in conversation. If you're doing more of the listening or more of the talking, you can also talk about the way that you communicate and keep up with friends or family. When it comes to communication with yourself, you can think about self-reflection, how you talk to yourself, whether it's positive or negative. There's a lot of different directions you can take this question. Number 10 is about humility. Reflect on a recent time that you were wrong or could have handled something differently. What did you learn about yourself or the situation, and how can you continue embracing humility moving forward? You can also write about a time or circumstance that somebody else demonstrated humility and how that inspired you to be more humble for yourself. Number 11 is about personal identity. What main values guide your decisions and who you are as an individual? Would you say that your life is reflective of that? And if not, how can you live a life that's more aligned with what you truly value? Number 12 is an energy audit. What people, habits, or activities drain your energy, and how can you minimize that impact? You can evaluate the things you can and can't control regarding that. Maybe there's a certain habit that you should distance yourself from, or maybe there's something in your life that drains your energy that you can't control, but how could you control your response to it? Number 13 is about forgiveness. Is there anyone you need to forgive, including yourself, in order to move forward? You can also explore the differences on if moving forward is similar to moving on, and write about how you might go about doing that, or if it's something that you're even interested in doing, and if it's not, why might that be? Number 14 is about your morning routine. I'm a firm believer that your morning can totally set the tone of your day. So what does your ideal morning routine look like? And how does it set the tone for your day? What do you need to change to achieve this routine? Whether it's going to bed earlier, putting your phone outside of your room, or whatever it may be, write about the steps that can help you achieve that ideal morning routine. Number 15 is about an evening reflection. How can can you close each day with intention? Whether it's using journaling or mindfulness at the end of your day, thinking back to the day that you had, picking out things that you were grateful for that happened to you. Number 16 is about authenticity. Where do you feel most like yourself? And are there any areas in your life where you feel inauthentic? A great example for me is online. I always try my very best to be as authentic as possible. And sometimes I get in my head about that because you're only seeing a fraction of my life here on the internet. And then don't even get me started on the balance between authenticity and privacy. You can also write about if you act differently when you're around certain friends or at work versus at home. Number 17 is about your identity. Who are you without your jobs, titles, relationships, or anything else? Basically, how do you define your core self? If someone asks, who are you, or tell me about yourself, we often talk about our roles in life, what we do, what we spend our time on, who we associate with. But if all of that was gone, how would you define yourself? Number 18 is about resilience. What has been the most challenging moment or time of your life, and how did it shape you? This is a really deep question, and it might be hard to answer for some of you, especially if it's still difficult to face that challenging moment. And if it's still something that you're working through or overcoming, write about how you can be more resilient through it, what you might need to do to take care of yourself through that, or any learning experiences along the way or that you've already learned. Number 19 is about appreciation. What small, often overlooked things bring meaning and beauty to your life? These can be little tiny things that have to do with you, that you've experienced, specific moments that's only happened once, or things that occasionally happen, or it can be a general thing that just happens in the world. Maybe it's the smell of the air after a rainstorm. I encourage you to think about something that's a little bit more abstract or less commonly thought about. Number 20 is about comparison. How has comparing yourself to others shaped your self-perception? What would happen if you completely stopped comparing yourself? Obviously, that's easier said than done. You can also write about how easy and prominent comparison is with social media. And when you compare yourself, do you often find yourself comparing yourself to others thinking that you're not as good as them or that you're better than them? And you can write about if either of those things are a good or a bad thing. Number 21 is about growth, specifically self-growth. What has changed the most about you in the past 5 years? Chances are a ton of things have changed since we are constantly growing and changing and evolving. But if you had to choose just one thing, what would the number one thing be? And would you say it's a good change? Are you proud of that change? And if you want to take it a step further, you can also talk about the next 5 years and what one thing you hope to grow in the most in those years to come. Number 22 is about your pain. This is another topic that can be really difficult to write about. What unresolved pain or grief do you carry with you? If any at all, how can you begin to heal or continue healing from that? You can write about how that pain feels, how it used to feel compared to what it is now, and how that impacts your life. Number 23 is about your self-worth. What do you believe you deserve in life? This is a really interesting question because some people think we deserve nothing and some people think we deserve everything. So where on that spectrum do you lie? And when it comes to things that you think you might deserve, do you think you deserve specific material things or treatment from other people? Number 24 is about goals. What are your biggest long-term goals, and are your daily choices aligned with reaching those goals? Why or why not? In what ways are you setting yourself up for success or for failure? What should you continue doing, or what changes should you make? Number 25 is about presence. How often do you truly feel present in the moment? What takes you out of it? I feel like this is a really applicable question in today's society because when it comes to being sucked into technology and just social media in general, it can be really difficult to be present. Or if you're thinking about what someone else might be thinking of you, evaluate how often you feel present and grounded, and or the things that help you stay in the present moment. Number 26 is about honesty, specifically being honest with yourself. What is one uncomfortable truth about yourself that you avoid acknowledging? Whether it's something you've done or haven't done, something about yourself that you should probably work on, or just something that you don't like to admit. What don't you like thinking about and why? How might you shift your mindset to acknowledge it in the proper, healthy ways? Number 27 is about technology. How has technology improved or complicated your life? And it's okay if the answer is both. You can write about in the past year or just in general. Do you feel more connected or disconnected because of technology and your use of technology? Number 28 is about your past, present, and future. If you could communicate with your younger self, what's one thing that you would choose to say to them? And then thinking to your future self, what piece of advice do you think your future self might give to your current self? Does it have to do with the advice that you'd give your younger self? Or is it something completely different? Number 29 is about avoidance. What is something that you're currently avoiding? We can avoid a lot of different kinds of things, whether it's confrontation, a conversation, a specific task like cleaning your room, or a homework assignment, a specific emotion, or something else. What are you avoiding and why do you think that is? Are there any patterns in what you you avoid? And is that something that you should try to change? Number 30 is about self-trust. How much do you trust your own instincts and decisions? Do you seek validation or input from somebody else before making a decision? If and when you go to another person, is it because you don't trust your own ability to make a decision, or is it so that you can gain somebody else's wisdom and input to have a more informed decision? Do you value your own opinion more than others when making decisions? Why or why not? There's a lot that you can write about here. And number 31 is about a lesson. What is the biggest lesson that you're learning in this season of your life? It can be in the past week, month, year, however long. What is something that you reflect on that is your biggest takeaway from the season that you're currently in? Make sure to comment your favorite prompts down below and feel free to answer them in the comments as well. These are not only great journal prompts, but they're also awesome conversation starters. It's cool to be able to compare what other people think as well as what your past self thinks when you reflect back on your answers. So I hope today's video was helpful for you guys, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!